everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. Fabulous panel and great guests, so we're so excited. We've got Jenny Hawran, and she is from Like Herding Cats Genealogy. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, excited to be here.
It's going to be a really fun discussion. I can just tell. We've got Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy and the Applied Genealogy Institute. Oh my
Yes,
God.
you got it.
I
Great to be
didn't even
here. Thank
I didn't
you.
even write it down this time. I don't know why I get so tongue-tied over that. It's so bizarre.
A lot of
Anyway,
syllables.
a lot of syllables, and it's late on the East Coast when we start recording. And we've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
So glad you're here. And we have got, last but not least for the panelists, we have got Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hi, Laura.
Hi, everybody.
Now, as all you Relative Race fans can see, we've got two very special guests. We've got Eric and we've got Abe from Team Blue, season 13 winners. Woo!
Hey.
Team Blue. But I was going to say, before we really get started asking questions, and I know some people will watch this months from now, but I just wanted to give our prayers to the people that have been so affected by the hurricane, both in Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina. There's so many people in just a really sad place right now, and so many still missing. And so our prayers go out to all of them, all the families, all those that have lost loved ones, all those that don't know if they've lost loved ones because they can't reach them yet. So we had contestants on day 2 of season 14 of Relative Race go through that area. And so we're thinking about Team Green right now too, because we hope that all of their family is fine and they've been able to reach out. So I just wanted to start with that so people didn't think we forgot that that's what's going on right now in our world. So, but with that, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I wanted to start out with first is that if people follow Eric, you saw that he posted today that it's 10 years since he and Abe got on that plane and flew out to start their journey on season 13. I thought, and I didn't know that when I invited them on. I didn't realize that coincidence. So I think it's wonderful that it's been a whole year since you guys flew out. So that's wonderful. That is, and you've got so many memories. I know you've got so many memories. And so kind of before we start talking about day 2, give us kind of catch us up on what's been going on. As far as relatives, are you meeting with them and those types of things? Have you found more?
Abe, you can go first if you want.
Okay. Yes, I have found more relatives.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, on my mother's side, my cousin Andy that I met on day 8, day 7, we're still looking for relatives. We haven't been able to find anybody. I didn't have any ancestry results. But I did get to meet Andy's father, my uncle.
Oh, that's great.
That was really nice. He does look just like my mother. And on my father's side, I found 17 more cousins.
Wow. That's a lot of
Wow.
cousins. That's a lot of cousins.
I ended up getting flooded with friend requests on Facebook after it was over from the Ghanima side of the family, and it's been a pleasure talking with them. And there's one of them, Karima. She's been teaching me how to speak Arabic. I'm working with her to learn the alphabet right now.
Oh, wow.
And then other relatives have been teaching me, phrases here and there. So
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm getting it.
That's great. Well, wonderful. That's so fun to hear. I love that. I love that when we get these updates. What about you, Eric?
I haven't found quite as many as Abe, but yeah, I mean, since the show, I've gotten to meet my 3 aunts. It's just a blessing. I see Andy often, my cousin Andy from episode 4, and Gordon. So looking forward to the end of November, beginning December. I'll be in Bermuda, finally getting to reach out and touch to that family. So I'm
that's
looking
so
forward.
cool. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you. I hope you post lots of pictures.
I'll keep you all posted for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, let's start talking about day 2. We always love at the beginning when they kind of show them saying goodbye and when they're giving them gifts. I think that's really, really fun. So Team Green got what looked like a Polaroid camera. if I saw that right, and then they're going to take pictures along the way, and they gave them a book. And I thought that was really sweet that they gave them that. Then we go ahead. Anybody else want to say something about what happened as they were leaving?
With the camera and photos, I kind of regret not taking more photos with our relatives when we were spending time with them, so that we could have those memories too.
Oh yeah. Well, you're kind
It just
of
at the
yeah,
time you're just so mind blown about the whole situation,
Yeah.
and you're so excited
exactly.
about everything, and you're just busy talking, trying to get as much information and learn, get to know them better and all that.
Yeah.
And we did get a couple pictures, but I wish we took more. So I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were emotionally all in,
Yeah.
meeting
Oh
each
yeah.
relative. Like,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
sometimes you just lose track of everything.
Oh,
You're
I'm
just
sure not everybody
in
can
that
think about
moment.
hanging their Polaroids in the back of the car like Joe Henling did.
Yeah.
Does it relative rate can they give you like the leftover raw footage or photos and things like that from your time with your family?
Yes, they do release photos to us, and then also they release the photos that we took with the iPhones that we had.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good to know. That's really good. So at least you have something because I can see you get so busy. You're busy. You've got
Oh
challenges to
yeah.
do. You've got miles to drive and you've got relatives to meet. So I can just see how all that just kind of gets in the way of stopping and taking a photo. So I
Mhm.
guess
I always forget.
Precious. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mary.
At holiday dinners, I always
Oh, I
forget to
know.
take that
Yeah.
family picture. So I know just what you're saying. And
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why
yeah.
didn't we take a picture or more pictures? Exactly. Precious, I guess, has written a children's book, and so she is
Yeah,
going to give each of. Isn't that cool? So
I
That's
love
great.
that.
I love that
yes,
idea.
so she's going to hand that out, and then she got from her relatives, she got the painting with the elephant on it, and she said, "I collect elephants." And I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
that got me to thinking about us
yeah,
as genealogists and researching our family histories. And I was thinking, I don't know if anybody else, but I've run across some of those things where when you have not met like, family members today, like they are in relative race, but when you're researching your ancestors and you were able to find out their hobbies or something that they were interested in or
yes,
whatever, and you have the same,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, and, I'm sure someone could probably prove me wrong, but I just think it's genetics in a way. I think we have
somehow,
that
yeah."
gene that we, carried to, from one generation to the next.
Oh, it's absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something that wasn't on camera when I met my brother Mike on day
Uh-huh.
one, because I play the alto saxophone.
Hmm.
And when I was sitting down at dinner with them with Eric and we were talking, and he was like, "No, you don't." I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Nuh-uh." And he walked back into his bedroom and he comes out with his saxophone. I
Oh,
was like,
what?
yeah, so it was very, very wild to see that he
Wow.
plays as well.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I come in contact with family members that have. I'm finding that one of my nieces in Bermuda, we like the same sports. We like. I mean, it's just. I absolutely believe that carries down through the
It's
genes.
got
Genetics are
to.
insane.
Yeah, it's got to. I agree with you. Seems like Blue got something in it. It's not, I can't read my writing. Can anybody remember? Or maybe they didn't. Sometimes I scribble.
No, Blue was the only team that they didn't show any of that before they
Okay.
left.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's right. That's right. Because it was Team Black that went to the cemetery.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That, yeah, that's got to be an incredible thing because you're just learning that you've got that family. And so that's the connection, the bond isn't very strong at that point. So I thought she was very real about going to the cemetery and then her
Mhm.
father's ashes were there. I mean, it was nice that they were there. And it'll probably be more to her even later, when she's really be able to process the whole thing and have more connections and feel that tie and that bond a little bit stronger maybe.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I thought that was great that they were able to go to the cemetery. So yeah, so and that her father was ashes were buried there too. So that was kind of a touching kind of moment to start out her day. So
Yeah.
or
yeah.
their days. Yeah. Yeah.
So Eric and Abe, something that came to my mind is it's when they do these day afters and someone gives a gift or they like go to the cemetery or something like that, and you start out on an emotional note like that. Does it carry on through the day?
That's a good question.
I think it really depends on, the individuals. I mean, you do to an extent, but how you let it affect you. Abe and I both going into the show were living really stressful lives and going, and a lot going on. So, we had our little squibbles at the beginning, but for us, it was almost a little bit of a vacation.
Yeah.
And so, we're very emotional people, so we're definitely going to carry that with us. But, and a lot of times it kind of, inspires us. I know Abe was, we change every time we meet a relative, but Abe had a new fire to him after he met his brother, found out about his father and what kind of, what good man his father was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you can carry it in a negative way, I think, or in a positive way.
Yeah, that was a great question, Melissa. That was really good. That was really, really good. So as they get, oh, go ahead, Abe.
Sorry.
Please.
There was one other thing, Eric and I, we knew that, from watching the show what we were getting into, but you don't know until you really experience it. But
I can
we
imagine.
to each other beforehand, we said, just keep pushing through, just get through the day, and after the Zoom call, we can we can sit down and talk and digest everything that happened in the day and stuff. And that helped us get through.
Yeah. And you were so good, both of you, at supporting each other. You really were. It was wonderful to see that bond between the two of you and supporting each other the way you did. That was really beautiful. So I'm glad that you guys did the journey together. I thought that was great. I thought that was
I am too.
Yeah.
Me too. Absolutely.
So they get on their journey, and of course Team Black was in last place on day one. So no, Team Blue. Sorry, Team Blue was in last place. Gosh, on day one, and so they are having to hope that they can do better in the challenge. But what Team Black won, and so they didn't have to do the selfie challenge.
Yeah,
which kind of sort of you're like, yay, because they really had a huge obstacle along the way.
I love that.
That bridge.
I can't even imagine. Well, I can't imagine because we've got a swing bridge close to me, and every time that daggum thing I drive up and it's starting to move, I'm like, no, I'm going to be sitting here forever. So I really felt their pain. I felt their pain.
It was cruel. I thought.
I was going to ask you, Laura, do you know where this bridge is? Because it's in Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which bridge it was, but it's one thing if a major, ship goes by full of containers or what, but it's a tugboat that can't hardly tug itself.
And I've been sitting at our swing bridge, and it'll start to move back, and you're like, oh, and then it goes back again because another boat came, and you're like, no. So I could just feel their frustration because I've been there, done that, and I wasn't racing for anything, but it was so hard. I felt so bad for them, and they kept saying, but at least we don't have to do this.
Yeah, we don't. I loved the selfie challenge with this.
Oh,
me too. I love that they brought it back.
I'm glad they brought it back.
All good feels.
And how cute was that they were the flip phones, because they thought, oh, good, we're gonna have to do this. We've got an iPhone. No,
selfie.
Your flip phone is in your glove box. Tricky relative race. And you would think that, had nobody looked in their glove box, I would want to see what everything.
There's no need.
They get you really good, because there was times where we got out the car, we went to go do our challenge, we went to go do something, and we got back in, and they're like, take a look in here, and we're like, what?
Okay.
Yeah,
we're just
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You really never know when it comes to relative race.
Sneaky relative race, sneaky producers, because they're the ones that have to get that in there.
Yep.
I loved it. That was really fun. Everybody did great except for Team Red. They kind of had some issues about getting that selfie taken, but they finally got it done and went to their challenge. How do y'all feel about them being able to choose?
I personally like them. I mean, I think Abe and I, even though we're very good with the mental, we like the physical challenge. I don't think we ever picked the mental challenge, but I like giving people the choice, you know.
Yeah.
It makes it a little fair.
I do. I think it does make it fair because you know what you're better at, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not like one's didn't seem easier than the other, you know. So it didn't seem like, well, if we chose that one, it would have been really easy. I mean, because that Laura, you're muted.
Yeah, I thought it looked like the puzzle was more time consuming because you'd think a sledgehammer and concrete, but they got it done in
they got that done.
minutes.
Did you love the handprints in there? I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Dan, we've got Joe Hinline, we've got Rebecca, we've got who else do we have? Let's see.
Tristan Toadman, genealogist. It's like, was he the only other guy around that day?
Tristan is like, if we didn't have Tristan on Relative Race, you guys probably wouldn't, none of them would find their
That's right.
Good. She's so good. But I thought that was so funny to have it, like, you know, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, see those, you know, those handprints. So, and I remember we were, Jenny and I were live tweeting, Xing, whatever you call it now. And somebody said, because they had said, you know, there's Joe and he was on season 4, and people were saying, he was on season 4, that was so long ago. And yeah, it was season 4. And here we are on season 14. It's amazing how long ago that was. But anyway, so that was really fun. I thought the challenges were fun, and they got them done. You know, the puzzle with the sledgehammer, and then the other one was just putting the puzzle. The mental one was just putting that puzzle together. And that one looks a little difficult. I mean, I think if I was stressed out, I would never be able to put a puzzle together. I think my brain just wouldn't be able.
We would have done good if we had picked mental, not because of me, but because of Abe, because Abe is really good at puzzles.
Okay. So you guys would have done really well on that one then. So
we like the Hulk smash.
Yeah. I thought that was really good. Anybody else?
I have to say, I really dig the theme this year. I really do.
Yeah,
I think Eric and I would have had fun doing the movie set stuff.
That was hysterical. So I'm still not over the fact that nobody knew Princess Bride, but I will get over it.
Even I know Princess Bride.
I know Princess Bride.
I know. So yeah, I still can't, but Dan did a great, he did a great impression. So he
did. And it was, I love the challenge also to see, you know, like Laura Jean from Team Green. I mean, she's fierce. She's a little thing. And you could see the look on her face. It was like, she was so into it. And then Team Blue, smashing Dan's handprints.
Yes.
You know, yeah. Last place, Dan.
That's right. That's right. That was great.
Makes it fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make it fun. So I don't think it even really had too much of a struggle. It kind of looked like Team Black had a little bit of a struggle putting their puzzle together, but you never know with editing if that's even true. They could have been the first ones done and out of there until you see the times, you know? So Laura, were you gonna say something? You're muted again, hon, if you were gonna say something.
I said yes, I'm sorry. I just was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, poor thing in that voice. You're fine. We don't care. It's just us. We don't care. So, the relatives this time. Oh, I was gonna talk about them driving there first. It's like, again, people don't know where they live in the roads. And Melissa brings this up all the time. People don't know anything in their town. They can't get you there.
It amazes me. They ask all these people about where something is, and they have no idea where anything is in their town.
You just have to find the right person, because like there are people, you know, that you meet and they're like, boom, 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 boom. You know, one day we had it, and then other times we got sent totally in the wrong direction. So
Team Blue did. Team Blue went to the wrong
to the house. House.
It was the wrong street. They were supposed to.
They went just road instead of avenue.
Yeah,
it was the wrong. Yes.
And so can you imagine them running up to the door? The producers would have probably had gotten out at that point going, no, in the wrong place. Don't knock on the door.
Yeah. Would they have let them knock on some strange door, or they say, hey guys, just stop, stop. That's not it.
I don't think.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Oh, you're You're kind of cutting out a little bit there, Eric.
I don't think so, because they're always, you never know who's on the other side of that door.
Right, exactly.
Oh, sorry. You never know who's on the other side of that door. So I doubt that they would let them be, just for safety issues.
Yeah, I'm thinking lawsuit, so they probably would have to.
Speaking of which, Vic was hilarious when he went to the post office because they drive on the other side, so he knew to do that. And he said, "Coming up on your side." I was like,
"That's so funny." I'm approaching you. Yes, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm approaching your vehicle.
Yeah.
First, that's Tennessee polite, Melissa.
That was really cute. That was really fun. But they all finally managed to get to their relative. And who'd like to talk about somebody meeting a relative? Whichever one you want to go for. Go for it. Anyone.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Go ahead.
The one I love everybody on the show, but the story that hit me the most, I love Precious and her story.
Gosh. Yes.
Her start the show, beginning of the show, talking about seeing her brother walk up. You could see the love in his eye.
Yes, and the look on her face when he said, "I'm your brother." Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Eric, you're kind of having issues.
That love,
really slow. You keep breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Try again.
Any better?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's better.
You're talking about her going up and the love on his face.
So you could see the love and I in his eyes, and she felt that.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Just watching them hug, I was hugging more. I was hugging Morgan. Why, like when it's that first,
exactly.
It's just amazing.
And she had said that she was worried about if she should find somebody from her biological
father's side, and now
she didn't know if she wanted to do that. And I thought, oh, that's who she's meeting today, because they've cut that piece into today. So I knew that was coming.
Yep.
It was kind of a double whammy for her, because she was saying in her backstory that she never really thought about a father figure in her life.
Yeah.
And when she met her brother and found out it was from her father's side, it opened the door to her being willing to accept that there could be a father figure out there waiting for her.
Exactly. And she said, once she found out that he didn't know anything about her, she said, I can't hold anything against him now.
Yeah.
It just changed her whole thought process. Jenny, were you going to
just that one visit?
Yeah.
Yeah, my thought as I was watching her is I think Eric and Abe have both spoken about this in the reunion show that we had, but that I know they have to redo takes and things like that, and get different angles and all that, but she was one of the few, and Eric was another one that stuck in my head, of this genuine reaction. You could see it coming over her face.
It was like, that was truly the first time. Yeah.
It had to be one of the first takes, because she looked like totally stunned, not even anticipating it was going to be from her father's side. And it's just, wow, that's when I started to lose it. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Me too. Me too.
What I thought was so beautiful, well, she's very articulate anyway, but when she said, like, I don't want there just to be this journey, I want there to be an after this.
That's right.
And that touched me so much. And it's just, it's just such a good way to express. And I have to say, her brother was such a beautiful person.
Oh, yes.
And you could just see so much compassion and patience. He wasn't pushing her.
No, he wasn't.
He was, because every once in a while you'll see a relative that's like grabs you and like, you're mine now. We're going to be together all the time. There's never going to be a day without me. And the person's like, but he wasn't. He didn't push. Yeah.
And he was very understanding of what she was saying. He was really listening to her and her emotions, right? And so, I think that might just be a very strong bond, for the rest of their lives.
I want him as a brother.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was really beautiful. So, and he did tell her that her father wanted to meet her. And so, you know, she's okay, okay, I can, that was perfect for her to meet him first. That's probably the right person so that she could get that news from him and, the gentle person that he is. And so I really loved that. That was great. Mary.
Also, just timing wise, that they both now have met somebody. So that kind of
Yeah.
breaks the ice or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Because
sometimes it's like, you again, huh?
Yeah, well, that's what we were always saying with Abe and Eric. We're like, wait a second,
Yeah.
wait a second. Why isn't Abe meeting somebody? But it's just the nature of who's around, what the DNA connections are,
and the route they need to
the
take and
route,
so
all
forth.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
The dice rolled right this time.
Yeah, it did. Unlike Team Blue, because when they pulled up, apparently, well, the guy had dark hair, right? And so
Yeah, I thought the same
Jonathan,
thing.
I thought it was his
Yeah.
relative, and so did he. So did he.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was another relative for Daniel. So he's gotten two in a row. And I just thought,
And
wait,
many more
what?
to go.
Yeah, and many more to go because that was his nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That was his
awesome.
nephew. So now he knows he's got another sister. And then they showed pictures and he's got tons of siblings.
Yeah.
They
There were
alluded
6
to
siblings in that picture.
on day one. They alluded to that on day one. And one of them looks exactly like him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you could see the family resemblance, but there's one that was like, oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So he's got a lot to meet. So they might just do it all in one big fell swoop, because if they don't, Jonathan's not going to meet anybody. So they're going to all Daniel the whole way. So yeah, he's got tons. And he handled that really well. He's so sweet. I really like him.
Yeah, and Seth, he met his nephew. So Daniel met his nephew Seth, and who was so well dressed and had just beautiful hair.
I loved his hair.
Yeah.
Everybody was tweeting, we love his hair. We all wanted his hair last night.
He
We
looked
were watching it
great.
live.
I'm jealous.
But he was such a well-spoken young man, and
Yeah.
it was just he just was really touched to meet Daniel, and likewise. So I loved that moment.
Yeah. You know who I loved? I mean, I love them all, but boy, did I love Team Green. I love Laura Jean's cousins that she
Her
met.
cousins. Oh yeah.
My
Those were so
goodness.
cute.
Such Southern women, such
Yeah.
Southern women. I loved them so much. I was just listening to that accent. I mean, I live in the South, but I don't have an accent because my dad was military. We moved around too much, but it reminded me of my grand aunts and uncles, how they used to speak when I was a kid, I was loving that. And again, I mean, she's so, like you said, Jenny, she's so got so much energy and just so much, there's a lot. And I think somebody said, was she a cheerleader at one time?
Yeah. Yeah, her energy is insane. I mean, in a good way. It's just like, oh my gosh, she's so positive and upbeat,
And so these are cousins on her father's side. And she got me going when she said, I always wanted a father. I always wanted a daddy, is what she said. I always wanted my daddy. And I was like, oh, because we Southern women, that's what we call our fathers, is daddy. So that was so sweet. And they just kept telling her, you look like him. You look like him. And then they showed a picture and of him when he was a kid. You could see it as a kid.
Yeah.
And then Pam said, he looks just like your grandson. That's just amazing. That's just so amazing that he's the grandson, So yeah. So I can't wait for her to meet. That's going to be emotional when she gets to meet him because they did say he wants to meet her. So hopefully we'll get to see that on camera, because sometimes they just don't want to meet on camera, and that's okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. This is a lot. And we've talked about that before. And so it's just it's a lot. It's a lot for you guys to go on that journey and share it with everybody. That's a lot. It's a lot of emotion. And it's a lot for the family members who show up for you and meet you on camera. So, but
And we're eternally grateful for those that did. And
yeah. And those that didn't, you get led to them afterwards. And so at least you start learning your whole story. So, because I guess for some people it's hard. It's hard to be, either the story is hard and it's just too much. They don't want to tell it on TV, which I don't blame them. Or they just don't want to be on TV. And so you can't blame people for that either. So grateful for the people that show up for them. So, but that was a great story. Okay, who wants to tell us about who's next? We got Team Black. Who wants to tell us about Team
Black? They met Jeremy, his brother.
Yeah, her brother.
Her brother.
Yeah.
Who saw that a mile coming? When he walked out the door, I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
That's got to be like a brother because of his age, and it's got to be a brother. So
and she was wanting to meet siblings so bad because she had been an only child,
Yes, and her laugh. Who loves her laugh? Her laugh.
Oh my gosh, she's the best.
Oh yeah, definitely. And her brother has the same one. It's
same laugh. So yeah, that's a great story. I'm so glad that she was able to meet her brother, and he gave her showed pictures of his children. So, that was great as well. So all these connections were I just thought they were so special and so good, because sometimes some of the days it's really, really hard. Those connections are so hard. These ones seem to be just day 2 seemed to be a good day for connections. What did you guys think? Oh, Jenny, yes.
No, I was just going to say, I was looking at my notes here and I was like, I think 3 out of the 4 found out that their father did not know about them.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting. And I guess you can feel
it's so much easier for a dad not to know about you.
Yeah, right. No, but that you could feel a lot of different ways about that. I think
exactly.
Laura Jean took it as she was almost relieved because she's like, he would have come and gotten me otherwise.
Exactly. And Precious felt the same way. Yeah, she was relieved that he didn't have to be the somebody that she had to get over or try to like, he didn't have to be the villain in the story, so.
I think, that was like the tipping stone for her to, opening that door to her father's family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Mary.
I wonder whether that makes Mom more of a villain. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
So I think it's just, there's no baggage.
Yeah. No, I get that from the dad's side.
Yeah.
But then does that, I mean, so it obviously changes
from her
the look of the mom, of the dad, of the child with the father.
Yeah, why didn't Mom tell? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Eric was saying something.
Actually, it's like, at least the way I took it, I heard it in her voice.
Yes.
That's not what she expected.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. She didn't expect that. But yeah, like to Mary's point, I mean, so now when they if they meet their moms or meet somebody who knows the mom and knew about the pregnancy and all that, are they going to be saying, well, why didn't she let my dad know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so is that making now Mom the villain in the story?
Yeah, it puts out that question that maybe she didn't have or they didn't have beforehand, because they made assumptions that Dad knew and didn't care.
Yeah.
And when you find out that Dad didn't even know, and why didn't he know? I mean,
why didn't you tell him?
But everybody has to deal with it in their own situation.
And you've had that, Eric. So
No, and just it could also, we don't know the circumstances.
Exactly.
Right.
So so her family on her mom's side might not know that information. So we never.
I mean, we don't know. We can't. Yeah. But it is an interesting thought as to what might go through your mind when you find out, oh, Dad didn't know about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that, Abe?
I'm sorry?
Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if my father knew or not, and I found out, and then during Eric's journey, he found out his father didn't know. And he said the same thing. If I knew, I would have been there and I would have helped. And then finding out my father did know, but he just didn't know where I was. He couldn't find me. And telling Ruby and the rest of the family that no matter what, I would have. I would have loved to be with him and spend time with him and get to know him and all of that. But he was really sorry that he couldn't do that. And and I understand that. it's really tough when you can't, find the person,
Right. Exactly.
And yeah.
And what a shock to have a show call you and say,
yeah,
you've got a child out there, that you never knew
right.
of. Got to be,
and you have to wait 5 months to meet them.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to wait.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's me, but are you finding that from day one, the relatives are giving them a little bit more information about what's to come or who's alive or whatever than they have before? It just feels that way to me.
It does. They're not supposed to, but some family members, including one of my cousins, can't keep them out. So
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, I thought, wow, they're getting to know
Eric found out way more information than he was supposed to on day 4. Way more.
So I have a question. I was
like, in one ear and out the other.
Okay. Pretend you didn't hear that, right? We're going to cut that and pretend you didn't hear it and be shocked.
Yep.
Put your acting skills on. Yeah. Go ahead, Laura.
I have a question about Jeremy on Team Black's brother.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down, and I didn't go back and rewatch it because I didn't. But it says Jeremy thought he was the only one, and I thought the only one what?
I'm thinking he meant the only child, maybe? That's what I mean, he meant.
About, because we saw the obituary on day 1 where there were 3 kids listed. And so I didn't know.
You're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a Mary question too, Laura. You're just you and Mary. Yeah, that didn't even click in my head.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
Oh.
So I will watch it again then, try to figure out what he said.
He did say I thought I was the only one. So perhaps I don't know. That's a that's a good.
Or maybe he wasn't one of the 3 in the obituary.
Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look
but
at
he had that last name. All right, Mary, go. You had a question too, right?
Yeah. So, there was something interesting that somebody said, one of the relatives, that 5 months ago I knew there was somebody and I didn't know who it was. So I'm just wonder, when they first make that contact, we found a relative of yours, and how much they tell them, and when they find out how close that this is your sister or your niece or whatever.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Do you guys know anything about that?
It really depends on the contestant, really, because they search and they need to find 9 relatives between the 2 of you. And if they can't find the 9, then they hold off and they continue searching. So you may not make the upcoming season. It may be the next one or the one after. So there's sometimes the relatives could know about you for a very long time. They were having trouble finding relatives from my father's side. And so Andy knew about me a lot longer than, just a couple months.
But did he know what that relationship was? That's what I'm saying, is that because it sounded like somebody was saying, I knew that there was going to be a relative, but I didn't know what degree of relative.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that was like an initial call or something, and then they finally, could be. Who knows?
Yeah. So when
I heard that too.
5 months ago, you get that call, and then did they tell you get the call, you have a relative, and then they tell you right away that this is your niece or whatever, or is it like, okay, now we're a month away from filming and it's your niece? So when does the relative find out who that relation is, or what the relationship is?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% positive on that, but I do think the relative is notified towards the beginning, because they say who they are, and then they say how
it could have been just the way it came out. Maybe it was just the way maybe just the way it came out, Mary, because I heard that too. So I know what you're talking about. I heard that too. And another thing I found interesting is, and we know we've talked about this on about this before, and it's not going to shock anybody that watches GenFriends, that they do have to do retakes, and things like that to get the angles like we talked about. But did you notice that Laura Jean said, when she was introducing her cousin, said yes, and every time they said we're cousins on your dad's family. I would cry. And I thought, see, they have to get, you kind of let the cat out of the bag right there. That's every time they said it, so that introduction happened more than once, but I mean, it's understandable. Yeah.
There's lots of retakes.
It is a TV show.
Yeah. There's a lot of retakes at the front door.
Yeah.
But me personally, I didn't mind the retakes. I got to relive the moment.
We got
so that was fine with me.
Yeah.
And what's also funny is one of my relatives was like, I'm not a big hugger, and I was like, okay, and I was like, well, just to let you know, we've got a few more of these to do over and over, so we are gonna hug. And by the third time, the third retake, he's like, man, get in here, give me a hug.
I love it. And sometimes you can kind of tell that maybe it was a retake, because I mean, you can only be really 100% surprised the first time, right? And so sometimes you can tell, and then sometimes you can't. Some of y'all are really good.
No, I think the initial you're seeing as the person is walking up, that's generally the first one. I mean, they want you to show, the raw emotion.
Right.
But it's, like Abe said, like every hug, we get to hug again. Like I've missed 54 years of hugs. So,
exactly. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And you've missed all those years of having somebody say, I'm your this,
Yeah.
And so you want to hear it again and again and again. Absolutely. Jenny?
I had a thought. It just came into my head, a question. I don't think we've ever asked, or I've never asked. So when you're standing there, do the producers give you examples of questions you can ask? Because sometimes it gets awkward because you just met this person. Do they say, okay, here's some?
There's no script. It's all raw.
There's only the scripted line is, hi, my name is Abe. This is Eric. This is my brother Eric. And whose relative are you? And then the person who answers, whoever they say they're related to, that person says how are related. Other than that, it is all fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Though.
I love that.
So I've gotten asked that a few times about the thing with my mom touching my face and stuff.
Oh gosh,
No, I watch that at least once a day. It's my.
Don't you love you've got that on film?
Yeah.
That you can relive it over and over and over. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, and you'll always have it because it'll always be there. So.
Yep.
That is so great. That is so great. So how are you two liking the season so far? Now you've met all the contestants ahead of time, right? Or no? Did you meet all you haven't met all the teams. Okay. You haven't met them.
No, we find out when you do. And unless you're out of filming.
Okay, that's what I mean. Have you been? I didn't know if you had met them at a filming or something.
No, I was actually hoping to, but I had work and could not attend.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't able to make it to the first day.
Oh, okay. So do they call and invite you everybody to the first day? Is that what they do, or just?
No, I think sometimes people just ask and say, hey.
Yeah.
But it's every season is different, obviously.
Yes.
But I love every season. I love every meeting.
Oh yes.
Like looking at Abe and I were talking about last night about the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man,
oops, you're breaking up again. You're breaking up again.
It's definitely a different perspective watching the show now.
Sure.
Like Relative Lace alumni versus
when you know what they're feeling, you know it.
Yeah, well, like I was telling Eric, I've watched this show in 4 different perspectives. I mean, first I watched it as a fan. Then I found out that I was going to be on the show, so I ended up going back and watching all the seasons again, taking notes on everything.
Taking notes, exactly, studying, doing your homework.
And then I was on the show, and now I'm watching it as, from being on the show. So now I know exactly what's coming, not what's coming up, but you know what I mean? Like the different things that they're doing,
Right.
Like when they sit down and talk about how they think they did before the Zoom call, like, they call it the pre-call jitters, there's stuff like that. So like, we know what's coming up. So it's really interesting to see it now from, going through it all.
Oh, it's got to be, and it's got to bring up so much emotion.
Yeah, it does. Like certain things like Precious when Precious met her brother, like more than anything, it like dragged me right into that moment.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So it hits you hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, when Team Red met her brother, I felt like I was, the same thing how I felt on day one when I met my brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is there anything else about I want to say yesterday about day 2 that we didn't cover besides the results? And we'll do that in a second. Anything else about the actual race or the meetings or anything like that?
Team Team Green. I'm hoping that she gets to meet her father. I know they said he was ill.
Yes, that's right. Yes, thank you. Yes.
I really hope, and I said a prayer after that. I was like, oh.
Well, the show has been very good about making sure they meet people as soon as possible if they think they're not going to make it till the end of the show. Even beforehand, they did that on one season where Team Black got to go and meet.
But last season and this season, this doesn't seem like that anybody's leaving.
Yeah, nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving. It's true. But I mean, before the person had passed away, they would make sure
especially because they said that her father was not in good health, and I thought, I wonder if they will move him, if they have, at the time, moved him up, in the meeting.
And it could be day 3, just so they can get that meeting done. So, yeah, because we've had a couple of people meet their biological fathers, and then they've passed away not long after the season aired. And so, that's really sad. So I hope that's what they do, Melissa. I hope they move him up. Maybe he'll be on day 3 and just
even if he gets one,
and hopefully then he'll get better.
Hopefully he does. But even if he only gets to meet him, for a short time, Abe and I would give everything we have to have that opportunity. Exactly. So I hope that he does get that opportunity. I really do.
Exactly. And thank you for bringing that up and remembering that. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough for her to be told that he wasn't well. So anything else before we get to results we should talk about? And just we get to talking and then afterwards like, I forgot to bring that
up. There was one thing that happened. I believe it was the Team Red, where they were on the street they needed to be on, but there was the highway and the road continued on the other side of the highway.
Yes.
And when you don't have a map, you can't tell. And that happened to Eric and I on day 2. Yeah. On day 2, we didn't realize we were going to see my cousin. We're like, we're on the street. Where is it? Why aren't the numbers right? The numbers aren't matching at all whatsoever. Yeah. And then we climbed out and then we realized that it was on the other side of the highway.
Yeah, there's so many crazy. You just never know. Go ahead, Mary. But you're muted. Mary, you're muted. You got it.
We have hills in Seattle with a lake in between them. And there's a street on the same street, Gaylor Street. Yeah. And so you got to totally go around but it'd be really confusing.
Yeah.
For something like that in Seattle.
No, I've watched some seasons where they're driving in towns I've been in and I'm yelling, no, don't go that way. Don't go that way. I know you can't hear me, but don't go that way because you're going to get lost or that's not the fastest way or whatever it might be. So for those of us that are watching that, I feel your pain as you're watching everybody going through, having these issues and problems because it is frustrating. It is frustrating when you want to be able to jump through the TV and tell them not to go that way.
It is.
So so that's really fun. Anything else? I think we got everything. I think it was a wonderful day. I think it was a
great episode.
For all 4 teams, it was a great day. And of course, before we go into the Zoom call, they're worried because Team Blue needs to get out of, and at least they're not calling it elimination. And we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
You're not calling it elimination and getting us confusion. We were so confused last season, so confused about what the heck was going on.
Hey, we were confused too. But Abe and I fortunately, we don't know what it feels like to be in the eliminated position because we were never in that position.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. Exactly. And for these two seasons, nobody's going to know what it feels like to get a strike. So who knows if they'll ever go back. But I kind of like it this way and not the strikes, because then we get to see everybody go through. I mean, they did the golden ticket, starting on.
I know. I like that everybody gets to go through to the end.
I do too, because that's what we're watching it for, to be honest. We're watching it to Melissa's always said they could take out the challenges and I wouldn't care. I just want to see them to find their relatives. Laura, you're muted.
Yeah, I like to say I would be fine with it if it was just called relative and we just get away with the race.
It's just called relative. Did y'all go ahead, Eric?
No, it's fun. I mean, it makes it nerve-wracking for sure. I mean, obviously it's good for TV, but it's part of the adventure. Like, it's not just, meeting the family. I mean, it's an adventure, and getting to experience that with Abe was absolutely amazing. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about sometimes too, it probably, unless the challenge is very frustrating for the team, it probably helps you release some steam, just get some energy out to have something else to think about for a few minutes, so, and knowing that the rest of the teams are going through the same thing, they're doing it as well. And that gives y'all something to bond with at the end of the day too, is talking about the challenge.
And it's not even like, there's times where like we thought we did great.
Yeah.
And we didn't win. So like you never know how the other team, you can think and but you really don't know.
And you can't tell watching it either. The way they edit, you can't tell watching it either who does what. So they're good about leaving us guessing. So Team Blue is hoping that they're not going to be in that bottom position, because it's the only way to get out of the bottom position is to beat another team. And so the first numbers they give you is how quickly you did that challenge, and everybody did pretty well in that challenge. And so they were able to bounce up because they weren't the last one. So they're out of the out of the bottom when it comes to that. But then you go to the times for the race. So that doesn't, then they throw those times out. That doesn't count with who comes in last place. It's the overall time. So then Dan was looking good. Wasn't Dan looking good?
He looking snazzy.
I like
everyone's going, hey, Dan. He was looking very snazzy, very healthy. He looks fabulous. He looks absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so I love seeing that. And I love everybody's reaction to him. I think that's always great too. So, but so he goes through. Anybody else want to do the results? Anyone?
Well, that came in first was red team.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I mean, we can also say that blue team won their challenge, so that got them out.
Exactly, that's right.
And that actually saved their behind and got them into second place.
Right, exactly.
Go blue.
Yeah, go blue.
So red team got first place. And then, of course, blue team got second place. So they did very well, bringing themselves back from day one.
Yeah.
And then green team got third place, and then black team got fourth place. So now they are at the bottom and have to work their way back up.
Only day 2. So
I know.
It's only day 2. So,
And the penalty was in the challenge for the next day, correct?
Yes, you get, for the next day, you get a challenge.
Yes. Yeah. Penalized during the challenge.
So, so we don't know what that's going to be. So Team Red won't get it because they won. So they won't have a penalty. So it'll be interesting to see what that penalty is, because they come up with some quirky things sometimes for the penalty.
And sometimes they help, sometimes they don't,
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I always love when Dan ends and says, tomorrow's another day, and it's all about family. Family is the most important thing of this whole race. And yes, Mary.
And it's nice that the show makes the decision that it's going to be a penalty for everybody and not put it on the team.
Right. Put it on the team
to penalize somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because that's caused a little bit of contention. Well, who it causes more contention with is the fans. The fans seem to get more upset about, why did you give a penalty, team blue to team red? They get upset about that. So
Well,
this, yeah.
It's strategic sometimes too. Abe and
Oh,
I were
yeah.
really, when we had to give that extra time taken off.
Yeah.
We knew that Team Red was the farthest behind. That's why we gave it to them. So
exactly, because you do want to, in the end win. So, you had to win one for Team Blue. 15 seasons of Team Blue. You had to win one for the team. So
you set the bar pretty high.
Yes, we did.
You did. So
we were carrying 12 years of Team Blue with us.
That was so great. It's so odd. Don't you think it's just so odd, though, that you could go that many seasons with one team never winning? It's just so weird.
Team Blue was just waiting for the perfect team.
You got it. You got it. And they found it. They found it.
I think there was a lot of good energy for you guys, though, because I think a lot of people that would normally be neutral, they're like, no, Blue needs to win this year.
It's just, we were just being real in the moment, and people seem to like it. If I had $1 million, I would hand it over to do that experience for sure.
Well, we've asked other team members before, when you go places, does anybody recognize you? Do people say, you have a TV show? That's great. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I was spotted in Boston.
That's great, because that means the show's getting more airing in different places. And I've told the story before of Monica. I went and saw her down in Hilton Head, Team Green from season 7. I think it was 7. She says, I said, do people recognize you down here? She goes, no, this isn't Utah. So, and they made a big deal.
I got recognized in Georgia. I was working down there for a bit, and the couple that work for the place I was doing some work for, they were like, it was about 2 weeks after I was down there. I was down there for just under 3 months. And she came running out saying, oh my God, you're on that show. That's you, isn't it? Because they had just, like the week before the show's coming out, when they start to introduce ourselves and stuff.
Yes.
Just watch that. She came running into work. It was so exciting.
I love that. That's exciting. That's exciting for Relative Race. I think it's really exciting when people outside of, a typical viewing area on BYU TV, that's a stereotypical, viewing, or watching the show. I think that's really great. I think that's really fun. And she was on a pirate ship, and they were recognizing her. So, but
my sister Sonia in Bermuda, we didn't realize how popular the show is in Bermuda.
Really?
Right after her episode aired, people were like, you're from the show. And she's like, how do you know about the show? And they're like, we've been watching for years.
Oh my
God.
I
don't know if there's a big Mormon part of Bermuda that I don't know about, or it's a great show. So I don't
that's what I'm saying.
More the merrier,
more the merrier. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm taking the trip to Bermuda in April. I will wear my Relative Race shirt and my bands around to see if anybody says, oh, Relative Race. Oh, that's too funny. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Well, who knows? I could be there in April, so.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Oh, that would be really
fun.
I
plan on. Abe seems to think when I go down there, I'm not coming back. So. He says that to me often.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see him coming back for some holiday. I think once you get out there, you're gonna fall in love, and you'll be back for holidays.
It really is beautiful. My dad was military, and we were stationed there when I was like 6 to 9 years old. And I have such strong memories of being there. And that's why I'm going back, because I want to go to the place that I remember. So, so maybe you'll be there. And then, Abe, that just means you've got to take trips to Bermuda, right?
There you go.
So that'll get you to Bermuda.
Yeah, I want Abe to come to Bermuda. I'd love to go see where Abe's from as well. It's obviously Abe and I are not blood, but we are as close, if not as close as blood can be.
Yep, Of course. Yep.
Yeah, the family's waiting for it to calm down over in Palestine, but we are working on planning a trip for all of us to go to Palestine.
Now's not the time. Yeah, now's not the time to be traveling over there. So we certainly appreciate you coming on and talking to us. We always love having Real Race alumni come and help us get us through the seasons, because you do have a different perspective and you can tell us things that we hadn't thought of. So, because you've been there, done that. So we really, really appreciate you being here.
Love the show.
I appreciate you asking us to come on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we love the show. We're both big fans of your show. You know, it's not just
thank you. Yeah. You never know what's going to come out of our mouths, though. You just, you just never know. You just never know. So we appreciate that and appreciate you being here. And with that, thanks everybody for watching. We will have all the links, of course, in the blog post and on the YouTube video. And feel free to ask some questions. If you want to ask some questions to Abe or to Eric, I'll shoot them to them and they can answer them and I can get back to you. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching, everybody here, and we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye. God bless.
Bye.